Thank you for coming. I'm Yin Liu, a research fellow from IFPRI and the project leader. I'm sorry that I cannot attend the conference in person. We have tried all means, but I don't get the visa. First, let me thank IDIDR for hosting this conference. I would also like to especially thank Dr. Sudha Narayanan for doing a fabulous job of organizing this conference. The presentation is titled Welfare and Poverty Impacts of India's National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Evidence from Andhra Pradesh. It's a joint project with Klaus Denninger from the World Bank. We have two main research questions. First, what are the welfare effects of NREGA on participants? We look at partial equilibrium effects. Basically, we compare NREGA participants with non-participating households. The second question is, what are the channels through which NREGA effect may realize? We look at two channels. First is the labor supply channel. NREGA provide additional labor job opportunities. So the participating household is expected to increase their labor supply, which will increase their income. And increased income will lead to higher consumption, nutritional intake, and asset. The second channel is productivity channel. NREGA project mainly takes the form of irrigation and land improvement, and work sites of NREGA projects are often at the participants' own fields. Increased investment in land improvement is expected to increase land productivity, which will also lead to increased income and consumption expenditure. My presentation is organized as follows. At first, I'll talk about the data we use for the analysis, and then empirical method to identify the average treatment effects of NREGA on participants, and then the results. And next, I'll look about the two channels, labor supply channel and the productivity channel. At last, conclusions. Now the data. We rely on a household data, panel data of about 4,000 rural households selected from 5 districts in Andhra Pradesh. Among the 3 districts, 3 are Phase 1 districts, 1 is Phase 2 district, and 1 is Phase 3 district. The survey was conducted in 2004, 2006, and 2008, respectively. 2004 is before the start of NREGA. 2006 is the start year of NREGA in Phase 1 district, and 2008 is the start year of NREGA in Phase 3 district. The survey provides some information on key welfare indicators, including eyesight, non-food consumption, and consumption of more than 30 types of food during last month. We use this information to compute nutritional intake variables, including energy intake and protein intake. The data also provide information on job card ID for every household who participated in NREGA. The availability of job card ID allows us to merge the household survey data with administrative data. Administrative data include information on job card ID, worker ID for each worker, total work days, total amount paid for each worker by month. We also have type and implementation dates of every NREGA project. This table reports participation rate of NREGA by year, phase, and household poverty status. So we, for Phase 1 district, which started in 2006, the participation rate is 41% in 2008, and this rate is lower in Phase 2 and Phase 3. The rate is about 30% in Phase 2 and 19% in Phase 3. We group the household into 4 categories based on their poverty status. the poor rates of the poor, and not so poor and non-poor households. Looking at the participation rate by category, we can see the poorer households has higher participation rates than the not so poor and non-poor households. This suggests that the self-targeting of NREGA is taking effect. The following table summarized the percentage of villages that had completed NREGA projects by year, phase, and type of work. Again, we can see that the two major type of work is irrigation and land and soil conservation. For phase 1 villages, by 2008, 88% of the villages has completed at least one NREGA project. Not surprisingly, the rate is much lower for phase 2 and phase 3. For phase 2, only 55% villages have completed some NREGA project. The rate dropped to 1% in phase 3 districts. Now I'll talk about our identification to estimate the average treatment effects of NREGA on participants. We define participants as households with at least one member who had worked under NREGA by the 2008 survey. The treatment group includes participants of NREGA, and control group includes non-participants. We use 2008 survey as a baseline. Although NREGA started in 2006, we expect the contamination is quite small because of the following two reasons. First, only 29 households out of the total 2,400 plus phase 1 household worked under NREGA before the 2006 survey. We dropped those households in our sample. And also, delay of payment is expected at the start of NREGA. The major source of bias is household self-selected into NREGA participation. To address this self-selection problem, we use two empirical methods. The first method is difference in difference plus propensity score matching. We use the panel of 2006 and 2008 to estimate NREGA effects. Difference in difference estimate eliminates household fixed effects, and the PSM addresses the bias due to observables in 2006. This method relies on the parallel trend assumption, that is, selection bias is constant in 2006 and 2008. We take advantage of the two pre-intervention rounds to empirically test the parallel trend assumption. The second method is triple differences plus propensity score matching. In this method, we use 3 rounds of the survey to estimate the effects. The triple difference is estimated following this equation. We first get a double difference for the treated area and for the control areas, and then we take a third difference between the treated and the control. PSM is again used to address the bias due to unobservables in 2004. The identification assumption of this method is that the difference in selection bias between 2006 and 2008 is equal to that between 2004 and 2006. This assumption is less restrictive than the assumption of double differences, even if the parallel trend test is passed. Next, I will present the estimation results. This table reports double differences plus PSM results on the effects of NREGA participation. We do it for phase 1, phase 2 separately. The outcome variables include consumption, expenditure per capita, energy intake, protein intake, and non-financial assets. We use the level and also the logarithm of the variables. Let's look at the first column of the table, and which reports the Enriga effects for phase 1 district. Only the non-financial asset term is logarithm is positive and significant. Using the 2004 and 2006 panel, we find that the parallel trend test is not passed. We then look at the last two columns of this table, and those are for phase 2 and phase 3 districts households. The 2006 and 2008 panel result suggests that Enriga has positive impacts on nutritional intake. And also this regression has passed a parallel trend test. The following table reports triple differences result plus PSM on the effects of Enriga participation. We use the 3 rounds of the panel. For phase 1 districts, we find positive significant effects on consumption and asset accumulation. For phase 2 and phase 3 districts, again, we find positive effects on nutritional intake, which is consistent with the double difference results. We noticed that the total impact on consumption expenditure is about 7% increase. This amount is higher than the amount of cash transfer from Enriga, which is 570 rupees per capita, although the difference is statistically insignificant. Next, I'll look at the underlying mechanism through which Enriga effects are materialized. I'll look at the labor supply channel first. We use double differences as identification method. We use the 2006 and 2008 panel to estimate equation 1, where the dependent variable is change in carrier labor income between 2006 and 2008 for household I. And D, Enriga, is a dummy variable indicating of Enriga participation in 2008. Xi0 is a vector of initial period control variables, including household demographics, land holdings, and districts of residence. We also use the pre-intervention round 2004 and 2006 panel to do a falsification test. In this regression, the parameter in equation 1, the parameter of interest is beta 1, which indicates the impact of Enriga on carrier labor income. In this slide, we report the estimates of beta 1, the effect of Enriga participation on total carrier labor income. For dependent variables, we looked at carrier labor income from all members in the household, and the income from female members only and from male members only separately. The first column reports the impacts, and we see that Enriga participation increased carrier labor income for the household by 3,300 rupees. And for female and male, the increase, the magnitude of the estimates are quite close between female and male. And also those regressions has all passed the falsification test. From administrative data, we found the total labor payment of Enriga per household during the same period is about 3,340 rupees. We noticed that the two numbers are very close, which suggests that Enriga work does not crowd out other forms of carrier labor employment. Next, I'll talk about productivity channel. We use the same method as for the Cairo labor income. That is, we estimate the same equation using 2008 and 2006 panel. Here, we only change the dependent variable to change in investment in land improvement between the 2006 and 2008 survey. Unfortunately, we don't have good measures for productivity. Again, we use 2004 and 2006 panel for the falsification test. The results are reported in this table. We look at investment in land improvement, total investment, and also total investment, the investment in with NREGA support only, and the investment without NREGA support, which is private investment. So the results suggest that participants of NREGA were more likely to invest in land improvement. And the increase of investment in land improvement is derived by NREGA support. We notice that the two estimates of the two for the total investment and NREGA supported investment are very close to each other. If we only look at the private investment, there's no NREGA effects. We know that NREGA can affect the private investment through two channels. First, NREGA can crowd out private investment, which is a negative effect. And also, NREGA increases household income of participants, which will encourage private investment in land improvement. So the result may suggest that the total effect of the crowd out effect and the income increase effect is zero. Next, let me summarize our major findings. We have three findings. First, on welfare effect of NREGA after 2 years program implementation. We find annual increase of 7% in per capita consumption expenditure for Phase 1 districts households. The estimated gains exceed the magnitude of NREGA-related cash transfers to participants. We also find significant increase in asset accumulation for Phase 1 districts. For Phase 2 and 3 districts, we find significant NREGA impacts on nutritional intake, but not on asset accumulation. This result is consistent with the literature that consumption effect occurs earlier than asset effect. Secondly, we find no evidence that participation in NREGA crowded out non-NREGA covered labor work. Thirdly, participants were more likely to get support from NREGA for investment in land improvement. However, NREGA has no effect on private investment. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
So